Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs, go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started. What's going on? Facebook Live, YouTube, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Got a full house here. Well, not a full house, but we got some new faces. We don't have our man Jay Randall in the house, so we got a much better, upgraded version, Mr. John Rapp.
What's happening?
How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. Good. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, my man. And
big
then
shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill, but I'm glad to try.
You're talking like the actual shoe size, right?
That too.
Oh man, fun stuff. It's gonna be a fun night. I know possibly a couple other hosts are gonna jump in the house tonight. We got Chris Lifter in the house. What's up, brother?
Hey man, what's up? It's good to be on here finally. Well, it's been a while.
Sean says it's big dimples to fill.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show tonight.
No, it's Chris hit me up earlier in the week and was talking about a few things in regards to something that was seen down at the old Bassmaster Classic. And so we want to talk about that. But real quick, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, huge shout out to the kayak fishing community as a whole. We've been talking about this Save River Wolf benefit. If you guys don't know who River Wolf is, he's a team member of New Canoe. Big staple in the kayak fishing community down in the Southeast. Came down with an illness. Ended up needing a double lung transplant. He's been transferred to Duke University, which all your guys' thoughts, prayers have been huge. He's a father of a couple kids. He's married, and I know Westbrook Supply Company did a huge raffle, sold thousands of dollars worth of raffle tickets. People don't go for me. It's been pretty incredible and overwhelming to see. So thank you everybody that helped out with that. Just a huge thing and another amazing gesture from the kayak fishing community. So shout out to all you folks that helped out with that and helped spread the word, and just continue to pray and send your thoughts to River Wolf and his family. Sonny is a good dude. What else do we got? Oh, the Big Dale Hollow event is coming up, boys and girls, April 2nd and 3rd. I know all the Paddle and Fin crew is getting jazzed up. John Rapp has been messaging me nonstop, but we have a pretty cool announcement for that.
Hey, man, you need to pop up some of them graphics I send you.
Which ones? The memes with my face being all goofy?
Man, you're dancing out there with the cash in your hand,
I'll pull one up just for you because you're on the show tonight. We'll make a fool of myself. But I got a call today. Richard down there at Eastport Marina is a New Canoe dealer. And he talked to Mr. Blake Young from New Canoe today. And if anybody wins the Paddle and Fin Open out of a New Canoe, they're getting a $500 credit with New Canoe and a $500 credit with Eastport Marina. So nice. Little stipulation for you New Canoe owners. You may want to get signed up and get on down there. I know rooms and stuff have been filling up pretty quick. So if you guys are still looking for lodging, I know there's still a couple left, but you want to get on that sooner than later.
Hey, that's a great deal, Brian.
What's that?
I mean, those rooms are a great deal. I mean,
oh yeah, $50 a night.
Yeah.
for your own bedroom on a luxury houseboat. I mean, you can't beat that.
No.
I mean, we all stayed on them last year, man, and
I had a blast.
it was pretty incredible. Guys left their kayaks tied up to the dock in the morning. They get in them, didn't even have to launch their kayaks, and they were ready to roll.
Hey, and not only that, but you walk 75 feet to have breakfast.
Yeah, I know a couple guys that kind of got up late, went and had breakfast before they even got on the water for the tournament.
I believe I might resemble one of them guys.
I think you were one of those guys. I think I was one of those guys too, but I just dropped that link in the chat. If you guys are listening on the podcast platform later, that's in the show notes as well. And the info to get in touch with the folks at Eastport Marina as well to book some lodging. What were you going to say, John?
I was just say, man, if you want to have fun, want to fish a tournament, want to meet great people, those three things, they'll holla coming up. Be there. Yeah,
man. Huge shout out to West Virginia showing up on the Tourney X sign up.
That's right, baby.
We got Shane Lamont coming out from California. I mean, pretty much the whole paddle and fin crew is going to be there, but there's been people registered. Wisconsin's on the sheet. I think Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia,
Ohio.
Yeah, where's my West Virginia or my Georgia boys at? They still need to sign up. They told me they were coming. Yeah.
Those guys were a hoot. They need to come back up.
And if you guys missed the podcast with Richard, he's chiming in right now. He says we're going to have breakfast pizza this year. They got a brand new pizza oven. So
outstanding.
This is going to kind of be the grand reopening of the restaurant for the season. They're going to have all kinds of food deals and stuff as well. So it's going to be huge. It'll be huge.
Looking forward to it, Richard.
Nice. Chris, you got anything to add on the open?
No, I told you earlier this week, man, I'm just counting down the days. Like,
I think everybody is.
I'm so tired of seeing ice and being cold and
snowed again today, man.
Yeah, I know.
They're calling for a blizzard here this weekend. We're going to get 6 to 8 inches of snow.
Oh, you guys are in West Virginia?
Yeah, that's what they're calling for starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, they said up there it's going to get nasty.
Our man Ryan Milford in the chat, he says, pizza, breakfast, I might have to come after all.
Man, I hope you do, Ryan.
He'll be there.
He'll be there. He should be there. Here you go, John. This is for you, buddy.
Here we go. That's right, baby.
John sends me these memes, and unfortunately, my face is plastered all over them, dancing and doing all kinds of goofy things.
I try to get your morning started off right, buddy.
That's true. He did send that and said, "Good morning, bro." Oh, it's too funny, man. Too funny. Nicholas Beltran in the chat says, "Sup, guys? What's going on, John?" Brad Hurlbaugh says, "I'll bring a double wide sleeping bag for us." I think he's talking to you, Chris.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He likes that. He likes that young man right there.
No, you know I like sleeping in the Jeep.
Yeah. Well, Chris is now sleeping in his Jeep.
Hey, make sure you keep your backside toward the middle, toward the gear shift.
Oh boy,
this has went off the rails.
It's gonna be fun.
Hey,
it's gonna be fun.
That's what happens when he lets me get on the show.
It's always fun with Mr. Wraparound. I'm gonna share this up real quick.
You said that was from Milford.
It's fully rigged with literally everything you need, but with $20,000, you could buy a lot of things. You could buy a car, a truck. I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to need a little bit more convincing before I spend that money on this.
Well, heck,
so
we might need that for gasoline now.
So that was a video. I know there was many posts that came out of the Bassmaster Classic. Hobie had a boat fully rigged in their booth, listed at $21,789, right? And Chris hit me up and he's like, dude, we should talk about this because, you know, for somebody like that guy, like he said in his video, he's like, for that, like, I might as well buy a bass boat. You know what I mean? And so Chris brought up the suggestion, hey, we should talk about this because people may see that and think that they need to spend that kind of money to get into a kayak, to get into kayak fishing and kayak fishing tournaments and things like that. Whereas in reality, you could be as simple as a cheap boat and a paddle in one rod, right?
That's right.
You know, Chris brought up Drew Gregory for an example. I know he's got a podcast coming out. It's this week, right?
It's this Sunday. That's a great podcast. I told you.
And, you know, Drew keeps it pretty simple. You know, some guys go a little overboard and things like that. But, you know, what do you guys think, you know?
Well, to bring the Drew podcast up, that's exactly kind of what we talk about on there, is how he keeps it simple. But for him, he says the pros and the cons. And, like, for me, seeing stuff like that would make me be like, well, I can't compete if I don't have the electronics. I can't compete if I don't have this, that, or the other. Especially seeing that and then seeing Ike also promote it and all the big names that these kids look up to, and they're all promoting they need all this stuff versus when you really don't. Like I told you last year, I had electronics, but I didn't even use the down scanner side imaging to find most of my fish.
Yeah, you said you were using maps and sonar, right?
Yep, with Google Maps and transferring it over to the GPS on the unit. And
okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
not at all.
No,
actually, that's probably an advantage right there that you're that knowledgeable to do stuff like that. Yeah. I actually, for my season this year, I've got rid of the side scan. I went back to the old style, just a simple sonar, because I haven't taken the time to learn it like you really need to.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Brian too. I didn't really. You find yourself in places, and I'm certain, like, I'm not the only person, and you're not the only person that feels this way, where you're so focused on trying to learn that electronics that it completely blows the tournament.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You think it's hindered you guys, like, trying to focus on the fish finder while you're fishing too much rather than focusing on actually fishing?
Yeah, for me, because with the way I learned bass fishing, because I didn't grow up with tons of money, so I would go to the bank and stuff. If I could get water temp and basically kind of know where certain areas of the lake is and what the contour is, I can catch a fish.
There you go.
You know?
Boom.
And side scan and stuff like that's just an extra advantage.
It's another tool in the tool bag.
Yeah.
It's nice to have, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, I rarely used it.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary per se.
It's a nice thing to have.
It is, for sure. And especially once you learn what to look for, I think. I know when I when I first got into kayak fishing, I had this like little 4-inch Lowrance unit. It was sonar, GPS maps. I caught fish.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I went to the Garmin 93 SV and I got that side scan, down scan, it kind of changed the way I fished. But I think it's kind of hindered me in some forms, because I'm out there looking for this deep structure and this and that, but it's not necessarily that time of year to be out fishing that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Think I overused it rather than using it where it was necessary, I think is what my issue was personally.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, John.
Oh no, man! I was listening to you, but I agree with you with what you had to say. I'm thinking back over the years to the guys that, in West Virginia we fish a lot more rivers.
Sure.
So
sure.
Sonars are not really necessary. You're
Right.
fishing current and the way the water rolls and things like that, and finding pattern off rocks and how they want the presentation of the bait coming through the rapids and the shoals and things of that nature. But where side scan and now you have live scope come into play is especially around docks and deeper structure. I was watching a video of just recently where somebody was just sitting on top of a log or right up against a tree, just sitting there jigging, watching his screen. He's playing a video game instead of fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great tool to have. I think it's one of those things that you have to use it sparingly and use the rest of your time to fish.
Sure. Well, in not only that, like that kind of brings up the topic of like live scope, Panoptics, live view, all that stuff, that technology that's come out recently. There's been a big uproar, like you're talking, John. Guys are video game fishing. Is it bad? Is it good? Like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Do you guys think?
I mean,
it don't matter.
Yeah, I don't. It matters to a certain person, right? Because in the mental aspect of things, like the reason why I brought this whole conversation up is there's going to be a certain angler out there that says, if I don't have this, I can't catch fish.
Sure.
It's not. Sure. Is it true? No, but
exactly.
There's going to be people out there that see videos like that and say, well, if I don't have that, I'm not competing.
Well, it's the same thing with baits, rods, reels. Yeah. Like you get these fan clubs that think like, oh, if I buy brand X rod, brand X line, reel, bait, all of a sudden now I'm going to catch fish. I think the only exception to that rule is the Ned rig, because that always catches fish.
It does.
You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, for me, it's a drop shot, but
yeah. We got Cam Steele in the house. What's up, brother? He said, I waited until I was catching fish on my home lake before I got electronics and went to areas I knew had fish to help me learn what I was looking at. Nice. Totally agree with that.
Good advice.
That's kind of what I did too. I spent a lot of time on the home lake with it.
Richard says Ryan Milford is Eastport's newest local Eastport kayak pro.
Well,
you heard it here first.
Congratulations, Rhino.
There goes that kayak shop. Congrats, Mr. Milford. But Ryan says depth in water temp is all I really use on a fish finder. That's why I've never invested a ton into one.
Exactly.
And that's just it too. Like I know Ryan, he fishes a lot of creeks and stuff down in the Tennessee area. He is fishing some lakes. But I think that's huge, right? Like as long as you know your depth, and water temp plays a role kind of throughout the year. Sometimes in the summer, doesn't really matter much unless it's like dead heat of summer, and you're trying to find that cooler water where those fish might be.
Or
like
for us,
this
like
time
ice
of year,
out.
man. This time of year.
Around ice out, it matters a lot. And around like pre-spawn going into that spawn, it matters a lot. Water temp matters a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Pre-spawn, ice out, things like that, and then especially in the fall, right? When water temperatures start to drop and you got turnover in the lakes in the northern part of the country, at least,
right?
Like that's huge for sure. And that's, I mean, hell, you could get away with just having a thermometer and an old school flasher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To find your depth.
Find some string, get some string and tie it on and go, right?
Exactly. But I mean, let's get back to the thing at hand, like $20,000 kayak, a little ridiculous. I mean, I guess if you got more money than God, why not? But you can't take it with you when you go. But
he's in the chat, so maybe he can chime in. But I like how Brad Hurlboss broke everything down price per price. And I mean, maybe when they add everything up, it's worth the $20,000, but it's still kind of ridiculous price, being that our main thing now is we're cheaper than the boat world, but are we really when we're promoting
$20,000
kayaks?
kayak. I can see that. I think if they would have had a stock Hobie right next to the fully rigged out one, that would make sense. And I'm not picking on Hobie either, because I'll say New Canoe was in the Lowrance and Motor Guide booth, and they had an XI3 on it. I think it was dual 7-inch fish finders, bunch of Yak Attack accessories, things like that. They had that thing rigged out to the nines,
Yeah. They didn't have a price tag on it because they were giving it away, but I'm sure even that's in like the $10,000 range, because by the time if you had active target and the 2 screens, that's close to $3,000 right there.
Yeah, I think you'd be probably closer to 5 or 6. But I mean, even still, right? We're talking about $6,000 when in reality, like John, you're hooked up with Feel Free. They make big fish, right?
Right.
What's like their low end boat? What's their lowest end boat?
The Big Fish 105 goes, I believe, for $799.
Yeah, $800.
And that's like right now, that's your standard good kayak price.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good quality boat. It's roto molded. It's our sturdy brand. So if you're a bigger fella and you want something, But it's like right now I'm rigging out my Moken because I sold my Dorado, which is Dorado was the top end of the Feel Free brand, and so I bought a Bixby to put underneath my pod.
Oh, that's right. You are now the pod father.
Oh,
the tables
are you
have
passing
turned.
the title along, brother?
The title has been passed on, my friend.
No, yeah. So I hooked up. I've got it. I haven't tested it yet because I got to get my license for it. West Virginia, you got to have a register. You got to register your boat when you have an electric propulsion on it. So
yeah, I think that's every state. I haven't found a state where you don't have to do that yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So, $800 for a big fish 105. New Canoe's got the Flint. That's what,
12?
Is it 12 now? I know they had a price increase.
It's $11.99.
All right. So then you got the Bonafide RS 11.7. That's what, 1,100. I think they had
it might have went up. It might have went up when I had it. It was 1,000.
Old Town's got the Top Water. Yeah, I'm not sure the price on that. So like, good starter kayak, you're looking $800 to $1,200,
right,
which is a huge difference from 22 G's. What I mean? So we're talking about this, right? So if somebody new or somebody that is looking to get into kayak fishing, right? What we'll go around the table, like, what would you sell them as far as what they need, and then we'll kind of put a price package together at what they're spending roughly.
Well, there's a lot of factors got to be played into this. Okay, and no brand or no size kayak is going to be right for everybody. Like,
we all agree with that.
Brian, you're 6'4". Chris, I'm not sure how tall you are, but I'm 5'10".
6 foot.
I was 280 pounds. So, I'm 56 years old. You got to play all those things. Got to factor into what you're trying to sell somebody. And then how they're going to use it. Are they going to use it on a lake? Are they going to use it on a river? Because then the style of the boat that you want to get them, plus all those other factors roll into what they need.
I totally agree with you. So for conversation's sakes, right? Let's ballpark it at $1,000 for a boat.
Okay.
What kind of accessories are you guys throwing out there? And Sean, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Welcome, man.
What's going on, baby?
I can start with the accessories because I'm like I told you, Brian, I'm very, very simple with everything I do. As far as kayak fishing,
I'm talking entry level. This is what you absolutely need in order to get on the water, be safe, and have a good time.
Rudder.
Depending on the kayak, always. But you need something to hold your tackle. So like a kayak crate, and if you don't have a bunch of tackle, maybe you get a kayak that already has like a place you can put it. I know the Bonafide RS-117 doesn't have that. They have the little compartment, but it's not enough for tackle.
Sure.
So you need a little crate. I know they go for like $20, and you need an anchor for sure, and a paddle, and obviously your PFD. And that should get you started because you should have a kayak that has at least 2 rod holders in it.
All right, so we're gonna say PFD roughly $100. Don't necessarily need to get a Chinook paddle. You can get a cheap one for $80 to $100.
Yep.
And a milk crate $20. You say anchor. I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Sean? You're new. We'll go to you next.
This is the guy to ask.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely your paddle. As far as that, I mean, one rod, like you said, if you can get out there with one rod and still catch fish. I mean, so your PFD, obviously your paddle. I mean, I know people who bring bags like a backpack instead of a crate. So, I don't know that a crate is necessary, but either way, that's not going to be, it's still in that $20 ballpark or whatever. So, on top of that, I don't really know anything else you absolutely need to have.
I mean, it's basically.
Can I expound on what Ryan said?
No, absolutely not. And it's not Ryan, it's Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. There you go.
Look at that little screen. Hey, Sean.
Hey, man.
So, Ryan, we're talking new entry-level guys coming into kayak fishing. I laugh my ass off at some of these guys that bring them huge-ass tackle boxes like they have on the ground.
Sure.
They try to put them in their boat. My nephew was one of them, and I laughed at him. I'm like, dude, you're going to lose that. That goes in the water. It's gone. I said, just bring a couple bags of what you're going to throw. Most guys, and I'm sure you guys probably will agree with me, you might end up throwing maybe 10 or 15 baits in a 3 or 4 hour period, especially soft plastics.
Yeah, that actually is high for me. Yeah, but
I mean, I've had times where I've had 9 rods on my boat and I've used one in 2 baits.
Right.
And I've had like 700 boxes, and I've gotten a lot better as like scaling things down on what I bring out with me. Like I was really proud of myself when I was down in Florida in January, because like I think I had 2, maybe 3 3,700 boxes in my crate and a little tackle bag full of plastics, and that was basically it. Like I was like, I know what I'm going to try throwing here, and especially once I caught a couple fish, I'm like, all right, I could scale this back even more,
Yeah, I think that's the key though too. Especially when we're tournament fishing, is kind of figuring out what you want to do and then really scaling back during the tournament. So you can have a lot of stuff in the car. Like I carried a lot in my car, but when you looked at my kayak, I barely had anything on it because I already knew what I wanted to do.
I'm guilty as charged for that. Real quick, Richard said just the cost of electronics and motor could be $10,000, but you can put a basic trolling motor in a Helix 5 for about $1,000.
Yep.
Mr. Milford said anchor if fishing small rivers with currents. That's the only time he's really ever utilized an anchor to hold them in the current.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Richard down at Eastport, he said, they're a kayak shop down there. They got, a few different brands and stuff, but he said they set up a really nice kayak and it came in about $4K. So,
yeah.
And I mean, I can attest to what he was talking about earlier with like a cheap trolling motor. I think I bought a 50-pound thrust tiller motor for, I think it was like $180. Disconnected the motor head, like did that whole thing, rewired it a little bit, hacked it up, but worked great. I even had rope steering for a little bit because I was waiting on some parts.
Hey,
but
you were doing that down there.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunities are endless. Like, and that's the thing too. I was talking about in a New Canoe podcast with the guy that was down at the Classic for us, but like back 20 years ago, or 15 years ago when kayak fishing wasn't really a thing, like that's what guys were doing. They were doing all this DIY stuff and going and buying PVC and chopping it up, making rod tubes, like things like that, like DIY crates. You know, it's and we've seen a lot of advancements throughout just the past 5 years alone, you know, as far as like kayaks go, accessories go, these motor options, electronics, things like that, man. So I mean, like what's your guys' take on that stuff?
I mean, with electronics, I heard John mention, you know, fishing the rivers, you don't really need them. And I can totally attest to that. I mean, I have a huge river and I most of the time don't bring my electronics because if you can't see it from the top of the water, odds are you're not going to really need to fish it because you can see everything you need to fish, you know?
Sure.
So, but no, but it makes sense. Like you guys were talking about Drew Gregory. I mean, like I was looking at like crescents. Like I started looking for my next kayak and crescents. I really am digging because they're like super simple. You know, not going to break the bank, but you know, there's nothing fancy or flashy, but they get the job done and they're good boats. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree with that.
We also got Cam Steele in the chat. He says, not to be Mr. Safety, but a good pair of pliers and a first aid kit. A first aid kit should be considered. I agree with that.
I mean, that's something I
Without
carry. I carry that even when shore fishing. So
Sure.
that's something that I carry.
well, I watched enough videos of people trying to get hooks out of their hands that I put a pair of diagonal cutters in my kayak. So,
any of you guys ever got a hook in your hand during a tournament?
Last year? No, not during a tournament.
Not during a tournament. No.
I've come way close. I should have by now, but I've come way close.
I had to go to Med Express to get a whopper plopper cut out.
Whopper ploppers will get you, man.
This is a great story. I don't know if I've ever shared this. It was a tournament down on Table Rock Lake. I was still fishing out of the Blue Sky, and I was throwing a whopper plopper, and I went to backcast and I hooked the tire because those Blue Skies come with the landing gear, right? Hooked the tire, so I'm like turning around, trying to pull this hook out of the tire, and ended up getting one of the other treble hooks like through my finger. So now I'm connected to the tire, trying to hold my rod so I don't drop it in the water. I got to pull a cotter pin on the wheel to get it off so I could spin around because remember, I'm attached to this wheel. I can't reach my pliers. So I had to pull the cotter pin on the wheel, hold the wheel and hold my hand. And that wheel's kind of heavy. Spin around and then kind of like dangle that wheel while I reach down to grab my pliers and cut the barb off and pull the hook out. It was horrible.
Hey, just remember, moonshine takes the pain away.
Milford says baby wipes. I can't stress that enough. They have saved me multiple times. You and Jay Randall both. I think you guys have probably squatted in the woods next to each other a couple of times during the fishing events. But no, it's I think pliers is definitely a must-have when you're out on the wire. You know, not only that, but if you throat hook a fish pretty bad, you're going to have to get something to get down in there.
Yep.
You know, especially the fish I catch, they're usually tiny and they have small mouths, and I can't fit my big fingers down there.
I was going to say, I take pliers even when I bank fish now because, I mean, I pretty much always use them. So
I learned that mistake once. It was right about this time of year, maybe still a little colder, fishing a small skinny river by the house, and I had a pike, northern pike, just like throat a jerk bait, and I didn't have any pliers. Pike have teeth, and I had to get that treble hook out of his throat. So that was rough. A little cut up after that one. But yeah, it's one of those things, man. So I mean, moving on from that kind of topic, man, what did you guys I haven't got a chance to watch the award ceremony for the Bassmaster Kayak Classic yet, but it seems like it was a lot better this year. Did any of you guys watch it? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I watched. I mean, I watched the whole thing plus the Bassmaster Classic. It was way better than last year. They had them kind of walk on the stage. They let them explain. They let them talk about their sponsors. You know, the guy kind of had a little knowledge about what they were doing. You know, he's like this guy, and then they also pulled up their biggest catch of the tournament and had
That's
them
cool.
explain how
That
they
is cool.
caught that
Yeah.
too.
Nice.
So
That's
Yeah, I
like the
didn't-
next best thing of pulling a huge one out of the live well. I mean, it's basically
Yeah.
the equivalent. And you throw that up there.
Not only that, but it's better for the fish. Sorry,
Absolutely.
boat boys.
yeah,
Well, when you were
No,
talking about your $20,000 kayak, I was like, they're going to have to start putting glitter on them, if they're going to sell that. kind of-
Hey man, Eric Jackson did that at one point in time on the Blue Sky. Remember that EJ edition Blue Sky he had? There was glitter in the plastic. But no, it seems like the past couple of years been rough. Growing pains with bass.
yeah.
And I've been a proponent. Let them grow. Let them go through these pains. Let them make their mistakes and learn from them. And it seems like it's gotten a lot better, man. A lot of positive things were said about this year's, award ceremony for those guys. Obviously, the lake was really good. Like Casey Reed caught, what was it, 24.5 or 25-inch fish?
24.
Yeah.
Just an absolute donkey.
Well,
And
they also made it to where it was like they had both of them come up. They had them both turn to the stage, and when they released the name, so they didn't release second place first. They kind of let it pop on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So there was an actual like celebration, and then while he was, I don't know how to describe this, but they let Siddiqui, I think, talk first
Okay.
and kind of have his celebratory moment. And then they went on to second place to let him talk.
Okay. And then they announced the winner after that?
Well, they already had announced the winner, and then after they let second place talk, then they allowed him to raise the trophy.
Nice.
And they had Mark come out just like they did with the Classic to pass the trophy on.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's good.
Super cool.
That makes, and everything that there sounds like what they've also done is they've increased good TV out of it. By putting up the big fish, by having guys interviewed, there's more to show about the sport than just having a guy talk. So
yeah, and then they also talked about it on live on Bassmaster Live. They had Ike come on and talk about the tournament too, which was also good.
Yeah, I saw that part that he was on there chatting it up. I think I actually saw that video clip in full of him talking about the kayak championship. So that's cool, man. It's good to see. Makes me happy, man. Sports growing. Another way to extend out to those folks that don't know about kayak fishing, and things could just keep getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a walkie-talkie in your pocket, bro?
No.
Started thinking John was a federale again. Man.
I
and his radio.
No radio or anything going on here tonight.
We got Brian Slayton in the house. He says, "I'm ready to compete at Dale Hollow. Can't wait to see you, man. It's going to be a good time. I think, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's from Ohio as well. So, we just had another one sign up. Just got an email.
Oh yeah,
Will Abbott just signed up. So, yeah, it's heating up, man. It's heating up.
What's our numbers at now? We were at 21.
That would make 23, I think, something like that.
And we still got those Tennessee boys too to come along.
Yep, the two Tennessee clubs haven't signed up fully yet. So it's growing, man. I'm sure between those two clubs, that's going to be a good 40 to 60 people, if not more. So
I would say,
yeah. So
it's going to be a good event.
Yeah, it'll be excellent, man. Excellent. So,
how many PNF guys are going? Do you know? Fishing.
All of us. I know fishing.
Okay.
I haven't signed up yet, but I know I will be.
I know Shane Lamont signed up.
I saw him.
He's flying in Friday night in fishing blind. So that'll be an interesting thing.
I've thought about donating my entry fees.
Brian Slayton says Ohio angler and newish to kayak fishing. It's going to be a good time, man. It'll be
welcome,
good time.
man. Yeah,
we'll break you in right, Brian.
Yeah. Milford says a lot of the locals like to wait till the last minute to sign up. That's every kayak angler, man.
Yep. I'm one of them. And
Frankie, hit me up, dude. I will or I'll drop the link in the chat for you for the Tourney X sign up, and you can pass that on to them, brother. That'd be awesome. Frank runs Slay Nation. They got a Slay Nation in Tennessee, so any of you Tennessee folks listening, be sure to go check out Slay Nation, man.
Man.
Frank's a good dude, man. We had a
Absolutely.
great podcast, man. Let's talk about that podcast a minute, because me and Armando got in a heated argument. Frankie did that intentionally, but like I jumped on that podcast and I'm like, I had just worked a whole show, like I don't know what it was, 13 hours, did a couple seminars that day, just mowed down a burrito that was the size of a baby's arm, and jumped on this podcast, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna be like an hour. Dude, we went, what, 2.5?
I think so, yeah.
It was almost 3 hours. It was definitely Joe Rogan style. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But
So
good stuff, man.
are you trying to say you were prairie dogging?
Maybe. No, that was definitely when I was like, that was when I was in the elevator going up to my hotel room. So
Couldn't get your keys out fast enough, huh?
no, I had it out because it was one of those elevators where you got to swipe it to get like the elevator to go up.
Oh,
But
no.
that thing is always a struggle, right? So I almost, elevator almost got dirty. I'm just saying.
Especially when you're tipper tapping them feet.
Oh, it's funny.
Man. That's for sure. No, that was a good episode. That was a good episode to be on, though. That's one where we had a lot of fun.
Richard said, if I sign up, what's my money value on fantasy fishing? What do you guys give him?
If it's Del Holla, I think he
5,000.
ought to be.
Yeah, true.
gotta
That's
be a
true. He has a
25,000.
hometown advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said 25,000?
25.
How many honey holes does he have on? He's got to know them. Yeah.
You guys are being nice, man. I was going to say $100. No, Richard, I would be afraid of Richard. Or the smart move would be follow Richard when he leaves the ramp. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we can know about Richard, he's probably got his boat tied up to the docks. So what we could do is we could go over and find his line, pull it out a little bit, snip it, and then reel it back in. So when that first cast goes flying,
Oh man.
You sound like you've done that before.
no,
Right.
it's happened to
Right.
me.
We know whose rods are going to get messed with Friday night. That's for sure. That's too funny, man. Too funny. What?
Sean, I was fishing a river tournament, and Brian knows him, is with John Gillespie.
Oh, John.
And we've been drinking Crown Royal all night along the river. And so we go to bed about 3, wake up at 5. And when we get our kayaks in the water, both of us are hungover, feeling rough. And I make a first cast with the whopper plopper and watch it go flying. Of course, it's right there next to a shoal. So I'm like, oh, man. So I go grab it. And I'm like, well, before I go to those shoals, I'm going to throw a TRD out. Well, I throw that out, it goes flying.
Oh man,
so I'm
that's
like,
just not right.
So I go look at my other 2 poles because I only carry 4, and all of them had been done like that. I called up to Jack, and he's over there smoking a cigarette down at the bottom of the shoals. And said, "Hey, buddy, how's the fishing been?"
That's pretty sneaky, man.
That's the worst.
We had a good tournament. I think he finished 3rd, and I finished 7th. So
nice.
It was a good time.
So I tried to play a joke on somebody at the Indiana show. It was Matt Gibson, and the joke got turned on me. So I'll explain. So he had Matt was giving seminars on tube fishing and stuff, but he had a rod there with a big old swim bait. It was like a $80 to $100 swim bait. So to mess with him, I went over, cut off his swim bait, and then wacky rig tied on a banana to his rod.
Nice.
So I'm like, this will be great when he finds it, right? And I put the swim bait in a friend of ours' cooler back where his rod was. Next thing you know, the guy from Moving Waters comes running over and he's like, Matt, why the hell do you have a banana tied onto your fishing rod? So what I didn't know was from the time that I had cut off the swim bait, one of the other guys that was there and knew about it, went over, grabbed the swim bait and hid the swim bait.
Oh,
so Matt runs over there and we're all laughing about like, why you got a banana tied on there? And I was like, here, dude, here's your swim bait. And I opened the cooler and the swim bait's gone.
Oh,
So now I feel like an absolute a-hole. Like I just lost this $100 swim bait because I was playing a joke. But I'm like, no, man, there's no way. And then sure enough, we ended up finding out it was one of the other guys. So, but Ryan said at least he didn't put a banana in your boat like Brian did to me at Dale Hollow. I did do that. That is true. I think that was after Ryan had a rough night, right? So we tried to mess with him the next morning or something.
he didn't even get on the water for a while.
Yeah, I think it was like 1:00 in the afternoon by the time he got on the water.
Yeah.
He made it out there though, and he rallied, man.
Yeah, he did. He did. That is for sure, man. But yeah, man. What are you guys looking forward to most at Dale Hollow?
Well, for me, just being on the water, but also getting back into that like tournament mindset. You know, just being out there practicing, learning the lake. I know it's a great body of water. I've seen it talked about. You've seen it on the Elite Series. You've seen it on MLF. You know, I'm looking forward to catching a big smallmouth too, but
Nice.
I don't want to get too jacked and then it not happen.
Right on. How about you, Mr. Rapp?
well, I keep thinking about watching that young man drink a little bit of butterscotch moonshine.
Which young man? Chris?
Yeah, he's all serious talking about how he's gonna be all serious and fishing. And he's
I won't be that serious.
I'm thinking about that after hours fishing time. That's what I'm thinking about.
Well, yeah, once you're off the water, it shuts off. But when you're on the water, you're focused.
That's what John does, though. He doesn't worry about the day of the tournament. He gets you the night before.
Sabotage, baby.
How about you, Sean?
I'm looking forward to getting to see the paddle and fin folks that I haven't met yet, and B, kind of getting a little revenge from the last time I was down there because I think I caught like 3 dinks.
Sure.
So I'd like to kind of improve my my catches down there a little bit, and I feel like I've come a ways since that time too. So
that is for sure. That is for
Gold
sure.
number 1 for me. Thank you, Sean. I don't want to be Susie Q.
That is a term that was dubbed at Dale Hollow. Susie Q'd.
She'll get you.
Brian Slayton says, note to self, stay away from John. Oh, that's great.
Why is his houseboat empty? You know, no.
It'll only be empty when people are going to bed.
Yeah.
I don't even think they'll make it to bed. They'll probably be sleeping on the front deck around the table.
Yeah.
And they'll just be standing there laughing with an empty jar going, ha, 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 ha. That's funny.
That sounds like you and your former OG or your OG partner that's not here tonight. I got up at 1 a.m. and they were still outside.
John Richard says Dina told him to tell you she says hi.
Biscuits and gravy, baby.
Oh yeah.
Biscuits and
Those
gravy.
were good biscuits and gravies.
Oh, I cannot wait for
Yeah,
that.
I'm
Biscuit and
looking
gravy.
forward to the food.
Goodness.
Having you guys talk about it all the time.
Adam Cawley says, I feel like I came in at the wrong time.
All good, man.
Came in just right at the right time. But no, it's a good time, man. I'm like Sean, man. I'm looking forward to seeing all the paddle and fin folks, but not only that, but everybody that listens to our shows.
Right.
It's always cool to interact with listeners and just talk fishing. And we always have an excellent group down there for the turnout. Super excited. Yeah, super excited to have these 2 Tennessee clubs involved as well, and get their anglers in there. And yeah, man, just see a lot of people enjoy the lake, catch a lot of fish, and just conversate, man. It's that whole
too. Yeah. I mean, I got to meet Russ Snyders. I got to meet Adam Reiser in person, and I sit there while they talk their thing, in the basement of the cabin, man. That was amazing. Just listening to how those guys talk.
Like this in the background.
Yeah, exactly. What was that? Can you speak?
Can you back that up 30 seconds? What did you say right before crankbait?
That was amazing.
Yeah, don't blame me, Sean. I'll be the same way.
Holy cow! I just sat there like, wow, So you never know who's going to show up.
Richard said Dina the goat says hi. Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's for another story over another bottle.
Yeah, exactly. That is not rated well enough for this show. But no, man, it's cool because guys like that show up to that event, and I know some guys get intimidated, but like I think the one time Russ came out and fished that, he didn't catch a fish at all, I don't think. So I mean, these guys are human too, but like you said, man, they're willing to sit down and talk with anybody about fishing that lake, and how to approach it. They're willing to spread the word. So it'll be a good time, man. It'll be a good time. Adam Cawley says, I want whatever John is drinking. So
see you in 3 weeks, Big Daddy.
But it's going to be a good time, man. Time for sure. The venue down there at Eastport and the folks at Eastport are just super nice, and it's we're very fortunate to be partnered up with them and have worked with them these past few years, and shout out to Richard too, man. He's a great guy. He loves the kayak fishing community. He bends over backwards and does whatever he can to support it, and it's pretty awesome, man. So
think about the taco night coming up. First night.
Dude. Remember what happened last time? I thought I was having a heart attack. Jay had to wheel me out into the truck, and I was I think I'm dying. I had too much taco bar.
You gained 10 pounds before you left.
I think I did. So, this is a great question, man. Brian's been in the chat all night. Brian Slayton, and he's newer to kayak fishing. He says, any advice for new traveling kayak anglers? We'll start with you, John. You've been around longer.
Hey, I would tell you, Brian, depending on how far you travel, keep that back seat clear so you can sleep in it, and carry a mat. Carry one of those yoga mats that you can put over top of those seatbelt buckles back there, because they dig in your back pretty hard. Hurt an old man. But either that or, like I said earlier, moonshine takes the pain away. No, just plan accordingly. If you're going to be gone more than 6 hours, a lot of our guys with the West Virginia kayak anglers, we go the night before and camp out.
Yep.
And most clubs do that. And join your local club if you have one, and they can teach you a lot real fast, get you up and running by May. And if you come to Del Holla and spend 3 days with this crew right here, by the time you leave, you'll be an old pro.
Oh yeah.
Nice. How about you, Sean? Any advice for traveling?
I'm in the same boat. Like I haven't traveled much, so I'm going to be, and I'm flying. So I'm going to be packing. It's going to force me to simplify, which is a good thing, I think. So what my plan is I'm going to bring my strengths, the stuff that I'm comfortable in. I'm not going to worry about, things that I'm not sure about. I don't have the space for it. And B, I just got to kind of really think about what I'm bringing, because I just don't have the space to bring everything. I'm like you, like Brian said, like I'm, when I normally go out, I bring a little of everything, just so in case somebody, goes by me and says, "Hey, I'm catching on this," I want to be able to be like, "Oh, I got that." But
just come by Brian's tackle shop. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, you gave me last time down there. You gave me a little Ned rig with a little Z-Man bait that I threw for a while. So
I'll have plenty, dude. Well, I got you covered.
But no, I think like I said, I have like two 3,700 boxes that and my Z-Man binder, and that's what I'm bringing. So I'm going to simplify it and go from there. So,
what about you, Chris? I know you did quite a bit of traveling last year. Like, what were some of the things that you would give advice for to Mr. Brian?
Well, first thing, I agree with John Raff on the yoga mat. That's because after that first tournament, that's the first thing I went and bought. Was that yoga mat, exactly for his reason, that seatbelt. It digs into you. He ain't lying, man. But just keeping it simple, keeping it simplified. I traveled with 4 to 5 rods. Maybe I had one extra rod just in case something broke. I traveled with only 12-pound line, 10-pound line, just to keep it simple instead of bringing this whole big 3-4 boxes of line for each rod. And then obviously you don't really need braids, so braids should last you unless you really mess something up.
Right.
And like he said, fish your strengths. Don't get too caught up in in what everybody else is doing, because that doesn't mean it's always going to work for you. And to just really simplify things, and then double check things, and then I also carry a toolbox for just in case something happens while you're on the road.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's definitely huge.
Keep your cell phone charged.
Yeah.
I see Cam Steele in the house. He says, make a checklist of your stuff you need with you and check it off as you pack. That's definitely a good thing. He's like, you don't want to show up without a seat or a paddle. That is for sure. I mean, like a couple of things I learned while I was on the road, like if you plan on eating out every night or going to fast food, that gets really expensive.
Yep.
Pack some cheap snacks, beef jerky, all kinds of food. You can get like that dehydrated stuff. Some of that stuff is really good. And it's like $5-6 a bag, and it's phenomenal. And all you need to do is boil 2 cups of water, and it's ready in 10 minutes. Definitely like plan ahead. Like I always route out my trip, plan for gas money, and I always pad that a little bit, just so that way I know I got plenty to get me to and from. Plus, if I'm driving around ramps, things like that. But yeah, pack light, and the biggest thing is just have fun. It's an adventure, man. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Another thing I did last year was like you're talking about food. I would go to like the nearest like Walmart or like grocery store once I got to my campground and kind of went off of what I needed when I got there. Well,
sure.
Because number one, Illinois is really expensive.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper to go out of state for your food anyways.
Sure.
But,
Sure.
But yeah, and then also because of, like you're saying, you don't if you don't want to carry a cooler, that stuff only lasts so long.
Yeah, I always bring a cooler with me, man, just so I can keep bottles of water on ice, and then I grab like 3 of them in the morning, throw them in my kayak, and make sure I'm hydrated on the water. That's a huge thing, especially when you bring like a whole coffee pot's worth of coffee with you. Then you're like peeing every 10 minutes, and you got to rehydrate yourself.
Yeah, make sure you keep an empty Gatorade bottle on your kayak.
I just stand up and go, man.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I started keeping a travel urinal with me underneath my, like in that space underneath, so that if there's tons of people around, I'm not like standing there just peeing in front of everyone.
Well, Armando needs that.
Oh yeah.
You guys hear that story on Reel Down?
Just let it dangle, man, and troll it along, you know.
Hey, is that a 7-foot spin caster?
Why is everybody clapping? Man, this water's cold. No.
Oh man, no, it's good stuff, man. Just have fun with it. Pack smart, pack right, and just enjoy yourself, man. That's
tell you what, when I left down there, I had biscuits and gravy for breakfast, and then I don't think I ate for 10 hours. I had a 13-hour drive, and I think I was fine like 10 hours in. I was like, man, holy cow, that just sat there, hit the spot.
Nice.
See, that's what I'm looking most forward to. That's the thing that gets brought up the most. Is how good the food is there.
Adam Cawley said that's the one rod you don't want people to see.
It depends.
It depends. Are you single? You know, single looking to mingle.
They were trying to figure out if that was a fishing pole or a 3-inch Cinco.
Hey, you have enough Jim Beam and honey, people will be asking to see it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan. I know you're listening.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Hey, Jay. Oh, man. Brian says, thanks for the advice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We'll go around final thoughts, man. We're just over an hour. So, John, you were our guest tonight, man. Final thoughts from you, brother.
Well, I tell you guys, always enjoy jumping on here with the Paddle and Fin guys. Absolutely love you guys. Last year, hanging out with you guys was such a refresher for me, being in the sport. It gave me a whole new life and energy, and I look forward to renewing that and seeing everybody here in 3 weeks. So final thoughts is have fun. Don't take life so serious. Don't take fishing so serious. A lot of great people out there that you can meet and enjoy and have friendships with.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Real quick, Richard's in the chat. He said for Dale Hollow, the food prices will be cheap all weekend. Box lunches will be available. You can get them the night before, and there will be a buffet Saturday night and cheap draft beer.
Yes. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Richard always takes
up
care
at the
of
farm, right? Richard?
Yeah, the farm, but they'll have the restaurant open too, and they're going to do specials down there from what Richard said. So like your breakfasts during pre-fishing, lunches, dinners, things like that, go to the restaurant at the marina. They're going to have stuff discounted. That's their opening weekend. So they're going to have all kinds of food specials. I think Richard was saying like a big pizza for like $9 or something originally.
Nice.
I could be wrong. He'll correct me in the chat if I am, but he was thinking around $9, I believe, for a nice sized pizza. So should be good. Should be good, man. Sean, final thoughts, brother.
Again, just to echo what John said, there's so much crap going on in the world today. I am just so looking forward to a little mini adventure, getting away from all that crap and just having some fun with good people. I mean, that's what the sport is to me. It's an escape, and this just is going to be one weekend adventure away, so that's what I'm most looking forward to, just having fun with, a great group of people, and, so I can't wait. I'm super psyched.
Heck yeah, man. The Slivka.
Yeah, I mean
the Slywicka.
Yeah, dude, that's how you first pronounced it.
I know. Well, that's what it looks like. I mean, I think everybody in the chat would agree with me. That looks like Chris Slywicka fishing, not Slivka. Like, where's the F, bro?
Hey. Yeah, I mean, same thing like these guys are saying. I'm just ready to get back out and fish, man, and be around, people with the same mindset, who want to go out, fish, have fun. Obviously, I want to compete, but, at the end of the day, we're out there, having fun, making friends, and being able to become a part of this community.
Bingo.
Heck yeah, man. I'm looking forward to all the sleep I get before I get there, and I have to start really working and entertaining folks. No, I look forward to seeing everybody there, man. It's going to be a good time, man. There's people that I don't get to see but this time of year, like John Rapp. Like, talk to John all the time on his podcast, and shout out to John's podcast, Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, live on Tuesday nights, 6:30 Eastern. Correct, John?
Yeah, 6:30 Eastern. If the Russians would stop hacking our internet, might be able to have a good show.
Oh man, John always does great, man. He's always got great guests on. Chris Payne's on every week. That guy's a wealth of knowledge. Richard said he's still working on the jousting event. There is going to be kayak jousting at Eastport Marina that weekend, so get ready for that. And he said, I was correct. Restaurant will have special pricing for everyone. So it'll be awesome, man. It'll be awesome. But
Richard.
No, I'm looking forward to it, man. I love this event. Since the first time we were down there to, fast forward to now, man, it just keeps getting better and better every year. More and more people show up, and the people are what make this event. You know what I mean? The Paddle and Fin crew is a small tidbit of that, and Richard is a huge part of that. But overall, the people that show up enjoy it, the camaraderie, everything like that is what makes this event so awesome. So just looking forward to it and the future, and this thing continuing to build and grow and gain strength. Like, I know it's crazy right now with gas prices and stuff, but like, if you're going to make one trip this year, this is the one to make for sure. So,
hey, just don't eat out for a night, one or two nights for the next 3 weeks. You can afford to come. No big deal.
Exactly. Yeah. Drop the McDonald's cheeseburger and fries, bro, and just save the money for a couple extra bucks
Gallons
of
of gas
to get you down there.
That's right.
Bam.
That's right.
And then you can get in on the kayak jousting event. I mean, that's
right.
what I'm looking forward to. So I got somebody in mind. He may not have shown up tonight, if that gives you any hits. AKA Mr. Jay Randall. But no, it's going to be a fun time, man. Thank you, John, for tuning in tonight. Sean, Chris, appreciate you guys as always, man. Can't wait to see you guys here in
always a
in
pleasure.
A few weeks.
Always a pleasure.
And everybody that tuned in and listening on the podcast, if you're new to the show, we're here every Thursday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. New Paddle and Fin podcast, 7 days a week. From everything for the beginner all the way to the most advanced angler. So thank you to all you listeners. We look forward to seeing you guys out on the water. And as always, boys and girls, tight lines, smooth paddle. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You can support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle box.